Hey everybody! Thank you so much for joining me on Bass Talk Thursday with Henry and the Invisibles. Or do you just go by Henry Invisible now?
I'm Henry Invisible now,
Okay.
but same thing though, AKA.
Yeah, man. So we go way back. I want to say the first time I saw you, and correct me if I'm wrong, was this at Dr. Rockits in Corpus Christi?
More than likely, for sure.
Yeah, okay. When Squirrel used to book the shows.
Yeah, Squizzel. Shout out to Squiz.
Shout out to Squirrel. He's still down in Corpus booking shows, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Still
I love
rocking
him.
and rolling.
Love him.
Yeah, so that's the first. I mean, that was such a long time ago. I was playing in Monkeys doing it back then, and I know we were always like crossing paths. I know you're really good friends with like Sunsalutation and all those guys, and so this was like 15, 16 years ago, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? No way.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. Right, not to age us or anything.
Nice.
Not to age us. But I mean, back then it was really crazy because I feel like there's not a trend, but there's a lot more people nowadays that are really using a lot of software to become one man type bands. You know what I mean? Or
Right, right, right.
be able to use software, do what you're doing before it ding ding ding. Hey, it's like magic.
I was getting out of focus. I thought it was, man, I stayed up, but just wanted to double check. Wanted to double check.
So you were doing it way before it was cool, There's a lot of people doing it now, but I feel like, hey, man, you were the OG original.
Copycats. Yeah, no.
Cats. So just kind of wanted to start with something that I was reading earlier.
Mhm.
I did want to tell everybody today, because it is Bass Talk Thursday, but not only are we talking bass today, right? But we're talking with Henry and your invisible band, right? You work closely with Bootsy Collins. You host the Love Stream every Thursday and Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, right?
That's right. That's right.
And you host your own show on Bootsy Radio every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m.
That's right. And we're about to add another Saturday night show as well. It's going to be like a dance fever kind of disco funk style party on Saturdays as well. Bootsy Radio. It's been going great so far. I mean, we just had one show really, but it's growing. It's growing. In fact, the past week it's been super hot. Thanks for mentioning all that stuff.
Oh, no,
Wow.
yeah, of
You
course.
did your homework.
Oh, yeah, no, it's kind of blowing my mind because I know that we were both at NAMM this year, and unfortunately we weren't able to cross paths because
It was crazy over there.
it's a huge event.
Hmm.
It blows my mind. It was my first time ever attending.
Hmm. It's almost a bit much, isn't it? It's like Guitar Center times 1,000. It's like there's so many. Everybody's just playing everything, and it's crazy. It's like an oral like mind trip. It was fun though, for sure.
Yeah, and so unfortunately I wasn't able to see you, but I knew Bootsy was there, and I knew you had won an award, or you were doing a contest, or I knew you were there and you were going to be in Bootsy's presence, and I was like super stoked for you. And I'm like wandering around with my friend at NAMM, and literally from like the side of my eye I see this like 8-foot man dressed in this like beautiful like red outfit and these huge boots and this top hat, and he's literally like God is gliding him down, to me, and it ends up being the escalator, but it's like
The UFO coming down, yeah.
he glided down to me, and I was in such shock. I was like, oh my God. Like, literally, this is Bootsy Collins, and he is just like walking around, and some people don't even know who he is, right? So I'm trying to figure out how am I going to take a picture with this guy, right? Because he's like talking with his manager or whoever, and he has his wife, next
Yep.
to him, right?
Hmm.
And they're just kind of, not avoiding me, but I wasn't loud enough. I wasn't really like, hey, I want to take a picture. So I chased the man down 3 flights of stairs, and then I finally get the picture with him, and I'm so like starstruck in the picture. Like he's trying to put his arm around me, and I'm like so far away from him, because I see his wife over there, like not mean mugging, but I'm like, man, she looks gangsta.
Oh, she's super sweet. Yeah. Yeah, Patty.
So that was my experience with Bootsy, but I want to know all about your experience and your NAMM experience, and tell us about the contest and how all of this came about.
Sure. Yeah. So, by the way, that was a great picture. I saw the picture you posted.
Okay.
It was didn't seem awkward at all. It was beautiful, actually, because
Thank you.
I mean, Bootsy is just he's an amazing soul. His persona is exactly as you would expect. It's not an act. I mean, that Bootsy is just one of those stars that we've been graced with on this planet, because he's just a super soul. But yeah, how it all happened for me, I was in Mexico, and I was scrolling on Instagram because I had just entered another contest where I sent in a video, and I was trying to win some prizes. And lo and behold, I was scrolling, I was sitting at the bar, and I saw this thing that was like audition for Bootsy Collins. He's going to pick 5 musicians to come out to Anaheim for NAMM and perform. Well, basically, it was an audition. And I mean, I'm thinking, wow, I just found this by luck. I'm gonna try it out. It said, and so the rules were like, send in a minute video, tag Bootsy, tag DR Strings, like a couple of the sponsors, Sweetwater, that kind of thing, and we'll notify you on Christmas. And I was like, wow, okay. So I looked at my phone. I found a video that I hadn't posted yet, because it had to be something that you hadn't posted, and I found one before I left for Mexico. I was going to post something while I was on vacation.
Yeah.
And so I posted it, and I tagged it. And Christmas came and went, and I didn't think anything about it. I just thought, you just try things, and quite often I'll enter stuff and not get notified, and or you get that email, you did make it, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever, So Christmas came and went, and I'm saying, well, at least maybe Bootsy heard of me out there somewhere in the interwebs. And it was 2 days after Christmas. It was the 27th, and all of a sudden I'm scrolling on Instagram again, and he said, let's give a shout out to the 5 winners, and I was tagged on it. So I was like, wow, what? This is incredible. This is crazy. And so I was like, besides myself, I was practically speechless, because this to me is a big thing. I'm a funk guy, if you know my music, and I've long loved Parliament Funkadelic, James Brown, and pretty much everything that Bootsy's graced along the way. His own Bootzilla rubber band and everything, and so I was just like, freaking out. And
It was like Christmas all over again, huh?
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
it definitely
cool.
was. It definitely was. And so at this point, I still don't know what to expect. I don't know, what's going on. Like, what does it mean? What did I actually win? What's going on? And then the emails started coming, and it was like, hey, you have to come to NAMM. Okay, you gotta get your own way there, but we're gonna give you a ticket, and also you're going to audition for Bootsy at his party.
Oh,
So
you're
you're
giving me goosebumps.
so he was throwing a party in NAMM at NAMM, and I'll tell you a little bit about the party in just a second, because it was such a wild experience. But anyways, so I told my pops, because my pops and we travel the country together. We've gone to festivals all over the country, and we have a tour van, and that's how we go. And I said, do you want to go to NAMM? I mean, I've got to audition for Bootsy, and I'd prefer driving, because we've got all this gear, rather than figuring out the flights and all that. And he said, let's go. So It was January 18th, I believe. January 18th or the 28th. Gosh, I can't even believe I forgot the date.
Yeah.
I think it was the 18th, though.
I was like, I have my NAMM pass right here. I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to look in the calendar, too. But yeah, it definitely ended with an 8. And so we drove out there and we went to NAMM and I met the people that I had to meet, like DR Strings representatives and that kind of thing. And, it was just kind of this whirlwind. And then I found out where I was going to perform at the audition the very next day. Showed up to the audition. Oh, let me rewind a little bit. They had already picked their 5 auditions for the contest. I came in a 6th, so somehow or another they booted somebody out so I could get in.
What?
Yeah,
That's so sick.
I heard that story later that they had already picked their people, and then his manager was like, "Oh, Bootsy, hey, what about this guy? What about this guy?" And Bootsy was like, "Oh yeah, let's bring him." So I apologize to whoever it
Right,
was.
sorry, dude. Try
Yeah.
again next time.
But anyways, I was so grateful for that. And when I got to the audition, now I'm getting into the party. We got there, and I got to tell a little side story too. The manager of Bootsy, and I won't give names or anything because a lot of people like to try to contact people, and that's not what they're trying to
Yeah,
do.
no worries. You can message me the info later.
But the manager came and was like the first guy to introduce himself, and I walked in and introduced myself, and he seemed to be one of the like a stage manager. He didn't say I'm blah blah blah. I manage Bootsy Collins and a bunch of other stars and all that stuff. It was basically like, hey man, I'm getting to work. Can you help me move this cable over here and wrap it around the stage? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. So immediately we got to work and we're like setting it up, and I'm like, can I set my gear up over there? And he's like, put it over there, because we got a bunch of things. And like it was Bernard Purdy on drums, Fred Wesley was there from James Brown, the JB Horns.
Wow.
Yeah, Ellis Hall, amazing artist on
So were you
Bootzilla.
starstruck at all? Were you like
Yeah,
speechless?
I mean, I've done a few shows with Fred, opened up for Maceo Parker for a few shows back in the days, and like I got a chance to meet all these cats. But it's like, I'm enamored by their ah gosh, their long discography of wonderful, amazing music and
Sure.
just the history that these guys hold. And
Yeah.
so every time it is kind of like a reintroduction. Although this time though, when I finished performing, Fred Wesley did recognize me. He said, "Yeah, I do remember in Austin." Because I said, "Mr. Wesley, it's so good to see you again. La, 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 la. I opened up for you in Austin one time." He said, "Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah." I was thinking, oh, that's my heart, right? So, anyways, the other musicians got a chance to perform. By the way, there was some amazing talent in there. Taz was there. He played some Jimi Hendrix stuff. There was that little boy bassist Aaron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
That
cute.
kid is dynamic. I mean, that kid is incredible. I mean, he's got the feel. It's amazing.
Can you
Um,
imagine when his fingers stop growing? Like they're still little fingers.
it's amazing. I know he's got that like quarter down bass or whatever. It's still a little smaller than like a, but he's getting there, and it's going to be amazing. I know. And then just a plethora of other Instagram famous cats were
Yeah.
there. I was the least, I would say, as far as like followers on Instagram and all that stuff. Like these people are past, and so I was pretty nervous because the what do you call it? The arch was high. I mean the bar
Oh,
was
wait.
super high.
Sorry, I have to stop you really quick. So you were nervous. The man that has an invisible band, okay, that plays a plethora of instruments and is opened up for George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, Bernie Worrell, George Porter Jr., Gary Clark Jr., Lauryn Hill, Ghostland Observatory, Dumpster Funk, Ear Funk, Carl Dess's Tiny Universe, and Victor Wooten. This man right here was nervous.
Wow.
Wow.
You did your homework. That's amazing. I was nervous, definitely. The night before, I had practiced in the hotel room, and I had went over the same song 20 times with my dad.
By the
And
way, shout out to Pops, because Pops is like your number one supporter and
yeah,
the
shout out
one
to
that made
Pops.
all this one made it all happen, right?
I would not be here if it weren't for his support and love. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, we practiced and practiced and practiced, and I kept tweaking the song and getting it a little tighter and a little shorter, and because they had said, you got 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, can I get 6? Because the song, I got to build it and all this stuff, and they were like, okay, 6.
Oh,
Then
cool.
I'm like, okay, cool. It's like a minute, and I said I'll be real fast to break it down and set it up and get off stage, and they're like, okay.
Wait, so the
So
6 minutes included the set up and the set off, like setting up and taking off the equipment?
no, the
No,
6 was just your
your
performance.
performance.
So
Okay.
they gave every act about, I mean, not a lot of time, maybe like
Yeah,
5-10 minutes
10 minutes. Yeah.
tops to switch in and out. And so we, set it up and everything was good to go. And then, it was my turn, and I was last. And I was so grateful that I was last too, because more people were coming in. And by the guests that were coming in, I mean, we're talking about singers with the Platters, cats that played with Buddy Miles, I mean, like all sorts of amazing soul acts, locally, historically legendary. Like, it was just a room full of stars, and just like it was super crazy. And
Right. If you get invited to Bootsy Collins' party, you better go to Bootsy Collins' party.
yeah, and it was, there was the P Funk fam was there. I was kicking it with, George Clinton's grandson, and Gary Scheider's son was there. I mean, it was just amazing. It was amazing, and that just says to me, like, just how like thick the Funk family is, and like I always expected it, but it's totally true, and everybody sticks together and supports each other, and it's definitely, to me, it's different than a lot of different music categories where in some cases it's like pretty competitive or whatnot. Like, it
Sure.
seems like the Funk fam is definitely strong together, and they unify around that. So I thought it was beautiful. And anyway, so I did my audition, and it was incredible.
Right? Because they saved the best for last.
Well, they didn't know what it was, but I turned it up a notch. Let's just say that, because I came in and it was just like this dance song, and I had everybody just moving, and I looked over and Bootsy's grooving and Patty's grooving, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then I busted into the keyboards, and then I busted into the percussion, and then I took a guitar solo and I threw the guitar around my head, and I just threw the gauntlet. Like, I was like, no, I didn't come this far in
Yeah.
life, traveled from Texas to Cali, you know, and came here to mess around. Like, I just came to throw it down,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. And the rest is pretty much history. Because like, I walked over to Bootsy. They never announced a winner, so
Okay.
and it was very very private. And so I walked over to Bootsy, and I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Collins, it's the first time I'm actually really getting a chance to chat with him at close." And so I was like, "Did I win?" And he looks over at me and he goes, "You're a winner." I said, "Oh my god." My dad has the picture where I actually says that. I'm like, and it's so crazy. And he basically was like, you did all that, and I love it. And so the very next day, we were heading back to Texas. I was actually performing at a wedding like that weekend, so I had to get back and all this stuff. It was around Las Cruces where I got the text from Bootsy that said that they really enjoyed my performance and that they would love for me to come on to Bootzilla.
Oh
And
my God, I'm still getting goosebumps.
and I wish I had stayed in in Anaheim one more day because apparently they were headed off to Dr. Dre's house party or
Oh,
something.
hello.
And
So
I
you
wish
had to
I
go play your wedding because you are a
yeah.
committed
My
person.
dad my dad was like, let's turn around, but we were already in like New Mexico, and I was like, well, we're gonna be late now, so we'll have to do that soon,
Oh
hopefully.
my gosh, how funny. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even imagine. Like, I just can't even imagine, like, your childhood, influence and somebody that you've looked up to your entire life. And then you're standing here, or, he's standing in front of you and you're just having to have to perform your heart out. And not only do you perform your heart out, but so much so that you're a part of his team now. Like,
That's right.
no, like,
And
congratulations.
thank you so much. I'm super excited about it. The excitement has gotten even more because with every week that passes, there's something new. And it's just been like I said when we were talking privately, it's been surreal, and I'm loving, like, I just love it so much. Like, it's actually inspired me to like be healthier, and like
Yeah.
I want to enjoy this ride, and one thing I'll say out there is like never ever give up, because I remember just a few weeks prior to the whole thing, I was sitting with Beth and I was telling her, I was like, I need some sort of break. Like,
Yeah.
I've been doing this my whole life, and I'm not saying I'm quitting, because I don't believe in quitting. And if you're a musician, I don't really think you quit. I think it's just you maybe try something else or whatever. And I was just at that limit for me, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I've had some amazing breaks, but not something that could catapult my career or anything. And so I just want to say to everybody out there that needs that message, just keep doing it, because it is the most truest thing in the world. It is not cliche. It's the truth. You just got to keep going, and you never know. You never know.
You never know, right? Unless you
Mm-mm.
try, and you tried, and you submitted that video and you were picked, and here we are. Freaking, what day is it? September, or we're August? August August 6th of 2020, okay? And
233 over here.
2:33, 12:33 over here. And October 21st, you are coming out playing the synth. Am I correct on this? On
October
Bootsy?
23rd.
October 23rd, my bad. You're going to be playing the synth on his album,
Okay, so not the full album, but
Power
I'm
of
on.
One track.
Yes, yes. So Power of the One is the new album coming out from Bootsy, and it is a phenomenal record. Um, it's it's really reaching out on a lot of different things. It's definitely got funk, but it's a lot of different sounds of Bootsy, and I was just like enamored by the invitation to be able to play a little bit on it. And when he sent me the track, I'm just like, wow, this. And I play on what I believe is going to be the last track of the record. I won't give titles or anything like that. I don't think it's my duty. But I play on one of the more ballady kind of songs that's on the record, and it's beautiful. And then he reached out, and I recorded some more stuff with him for another track that's not on this record. So there's like a lot going on with Bootzilla. Bootzilla Records is going to be a really hot thing coming very soon, starting in October, with his release back, because he's left the labels and he's started his own, and that's what he's doing. And he believes in funk, he believes in soul, and he's doing an amazing job already. So yeah, so I'm super
Combining all the
excited.
elements.
Yeah, and I haven't announced it yet, and but you can kind of gather that I'm in there, and I haven't just announced it yet because to me, it's all about the mojo, you know, like the magic of when things happen, you know, you just kind of sprinkle it out there and let people.
Yeah. I've just been like going through all your videos and I'm like getting all the pieces, putting them all together. I'm like, okay, this is
You're
happening.
good. You're good.
I have something kind of exciting that I wanted to show you that I think you will really appreciate. So this is the album that I picked up at Amoeba Records for $4.99. Okay. And Amoeba is like in Berkeley, right? And I understand that it has water damage on it. Okay. The
Oh
bottom of
yeah.
it has,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But check, have you seen this? You probably have, right?
The poster inside?
This album. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
How it opens up.
Oh yeah.
It opens
Woo!
up as like a one of these like 3D kind of things,
Yeah, that's so
right?
dope. Yeah.
But check this out. It even came with the paper cutouts, the paper dolls. Like, dude, Mr. Wiggles,
Oh yeah.
um,
Dr. Funkenstein, Sir Nose.
Queen Freakaline, like all of it. Giggles and Squirm, Peanut, Booty, Jellyfish.
That's
And I was
amazing.
like, I wasn't expecting to find this.
$4.99.
$4.99, dude. That's
Damn.
where the record comes in. $4.99. I was like, dude, what were they thinking? They must have not had like looked all the way in it and saw that it had like the paper cutouts and everything. I was so blown away.
Somebody does not understand the power of the, the funk. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's your find though. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
dude. So another quick story. Me and my son, when we did live in Austin, and this was probably about 9-10 years ago, it was our tradition every year to see P-Funk whenever they would come into town. So we would get dressed up, we'd go to the show, you know, so that was always me and my son's thing to do. So that's why I have a huge affection and for Bootsy, I mean, P-Funk in general, but of course Bootsy's the man. So I did obviously want to discuss all that with you because I think it's just amazing how you were able to just grow your empire into something as huge as this, you know, and now you're working with one of your like biggest influences in life. And I think it is important for everybody to know that your dreams can come true if you work hard enough and you put enough of your heart and your soul into it.
Firm believer now. And I want to say Bootsy is very special to the power of funk, and specifically like his story is incredible. You know, Bootsy came from very humble upbringing, and he had a guitar that he strung like 4 E strings on it, like the thicker strings on a guitar to make a bass.
Oh, wow.
Because his brother was like, "You're gonna play bass, I'm gonna play guitar," you know. And when James Brown heard of these guys and pulled them into his band, this is where apparently the one came from, right? So James is like, no, not 2 and 4, 1 and 3, you know. And the one is the emphasis, the bam. And when Bootsy left that band to go to Parliament Funkadelic, you know, George Clinton, the genius of George Clinton, completely made a whole like operatic symphony around that. And that's where the one comes from, you know, and everything on the one, right? And One Nation and everything. So, you know, if you think about it, Bootsy is responsible for a lot of this sound. And so that's why, to me, like, not only is he just a phenomenal, like, funky bass player, and I mean, he's got like a pocket, like, no, I mean, it's crazy when you really hear what he did on these tracks and you really pay attention. It's phenomenal. You know, he's a genius. And so I think it's amazing to work with him. I mean, it's amazing to be able to also grow our relationship in the future. I mean, I see a lot of really cool projects coming out, you know, with he and I and other musicians. And
what does it feel like to get a text from Bootsy Collins or to wake up to an email from Bootsy Collins?
it's beautiful. I love it. It's like I'm scrolling through. Oh yeah, Guitar Center coupon. And it's, oh, Bootsy wrote me. Oh, what's he saying? Okay, cool. You know, he's like, hey man, can you do this? And yeah,
Oh man, that is so awesome. So I was reading in a review that just kind of moved me, and I want to read it for the viewers here. And this review, excuse me, I didn't write the person's name that actually did it, but it says here, quote, obscenely talented with the soul of Elton John and the spirited guitar skills of Jimi Hendrix. While he's able to bongo, drum, strum, finger pick, rap, sing, and do ventriloquistic performances with his football-shaped alien puppet friend, his most impressive move is stringing his guitar behind his neck and flawlessly playing a killer guitar solo as if he himself had invented guitar solos decades ago.
wow.
How does it make you feel when you hear something like that written about you?
Oh my goodness. I mean, you know, it's first of all, it's a beautiful thing to be recognized for whatever you do. Like, it's so important, I think, for people out there to understand how much I love the music, how much like a genuine, you know, I genuinely love to perform, and for that to be witnessed or noticed rather, is just an amazing feeling. You know, it's kind of like something that, as a performer, you know, I mean, you want to be recognized as for what you do, and I think it's just an incredible feeling, you know. And thank you for reading that again. Like, I haven't really addressed that in a while, and yeah, I mean,
well, I was like, well, Elton John and Jimi Hendrix, now that's quite a combination.
It must be these glasses though. That I think they're talking about.
I love those glasses.
It's got to be those.
Let's talk a little bit about your love stream. So you just finished episode number 72 last night. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you've been doing this consistently, obviously, since this whole, whatever's going on has started going on. Yeah. 72 episodes. What in the world keeps a man motivated enough to get in front of his computer screen every day, or I'm not sure, how often do you release? Are there Thursdays and Fridays, right? Is when you release your live streams?
It first started Monday through Friday, and then it went to Wednesday through Friday, and now it's going to Thursday and Friday just because of all the recording. Mm-hmm.
And all the other stuff you have going on. Obviously, you're a very busy man. What kept you like motivated and just going, even like when you're having a rough day or you just don't want to get up and get in front of the computer, but you have your fans waiting for you? Like what keeps you going and motivated to do this live stream?
I mean, people like you, people like my fans that are out there that are, we say this, or you see it all over. I don't really have cable anymore, but when I did, it was like, we're all in this together, and you see all this stuff, and yes, we are, and we're all in this together, and we're all doing it together, but we're all feeling the being afraid and like the fear of things too, and we're trying to stay positive through it, but there's so many questions, and it's crazy, and the one thing that's kept me sane is music. I definitely feel like the music has certainly kept me in tune with, okay, just keep doing this. It's almost a meditation for me. It really does uplift me. And I have, woken up several times where I'm just like, oh, all right, and I got this show tonight, so I better pull this out of the hat, right? So like, and by the time the show is over, I'm like, yes, I'm invigorated again. And
is it kind of like going to the gym, like nobody wants to do it, but then once they go, and you get into it, then you're like, oh, this is why everybody likes to go to the gym, because it makes you feel real good.
Exactly. And also I'm working up a sweat like a gym in here too.
Yeah.
So it actually does feel like I went to the gym and I'm like perspiring and it's, oh, it feels so good. And you take a cold shower and it's like, that was worth it, you know?
Yeah.
But it started off as a songwriting exercise. Um, and I didn't realize, as none of us did, how long we'd still be dealing with this.
Sure.
So like when it first started off, I was like, okay, we're just gonna pick some random samples and we're gonna make a beat and blah blah blah. And then it started getting more evolved. And I love when the magic takes over of things and you start doing something different than when it started. And
Yeah.
I look back to episode one, it's way different than the production that we have now.
Yeah.
You know, um, my wife, which
Is
by the way,
she
I got married in
chicken?
March. Huh?
Is she the chicken?
I was just gonna say. So so she was the first couple of episodes and she was picking random beats and I would make a song out of it. Since then she's evolved to the mathma chicken.
Oh, the math chicken.
Yeah, where she comes out and does magic tricks and basically that segment of the show, although now she has fans, is was basically to get the microphone in check and let people walk into the room and
Sure, yeah.
you know what I mean, like get that whole going before the show started.
Yeah.
So there's been so many tweaks along the way. And but for me personally, like the songwriting part of it, now I take it very serious. I'll start writing, probably immediately after this,
Yeah.
and I'll get a few ideas so that there's still improvisation and a lot of spontaneity. But it has changed from like the songwriting to, I mean, the beat making to an actual song now. And one of the reasons why it started off Monday through Friday is because I was just going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that has like kind of too much energy.
Yeah.
Like I reserve a lot of my energy for music and stuff, but I'm just, you know, it's hard for me to sleep. And I just,
Maybe it's all the coffee you're drinking there, Henry.
I make rocket fuel. So this is not
Wow.
this is not regular coffee. This is definitely rocket fuel. So yeah, but I mean, and then so with all the energy, but then what happened was that I have 72 songs now, right? Not all of them are amazing, but a lot of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I started recording them, and so when this is all said and done, I'm going to 100 episodes, by the way.
Okay.
When this is all said and done, I'll have at least 7 slamming records
Dude,
of music.
that's so crazy because each episode you're writing a song.
Writing a new song.
You're writing a new song every episode. Now, when it first started, you were just kind of like showing the production side and like showing how
Yes.
you could do the beats and like how you
Yeah.
could do like the little MIDI pad, or what is the pad called? The
Yeah, an
little,
NPC or yeah.
little
Mhm.
beat maker thing.
Mhm.
Because I remember a lot of that, and it was a lot of like talking back and forth and communicating, which you
Interesting.
still do.
Mhm.
Yeah, the one with the little lights and stuff.
Mhm.
And then as your shows evolved, I've noticed that it's a lot of you're going from instrument to instrument and you're looping and you're doing your whole thing. So that's what I was curious about, is that, and I do try to share all your shows to the base page whenever I see you pop up.
Thank you.
Because I love you so much. I've always been such a huge fan of yours. But I
Aw,
love how
cyber
because
hugs.
I love how it has evolved to that, and how you've been able to kind of shift it to where not only are you encouraging your friends and your fans and your family and pops, we love you, but you're also, you're creating a discography, a huge vault of songs that you can use, later on. And it's not like you're going to be like, searching for some beats or something. Your
Never.
only problem is going to be like which one to release first.
Absolutely. And so it's crazy. Usually the very last one becomes my favorite. So like I'm like, okay, well I got to get that one going. But then I'll write something and I'll be like, well, this sounds a little better. So it is getting a little tricky, which is why I'm going to 100. And I figure at that point, I'm just going to take a breather, just kind of
Yeah,
like a Netflix series. It has seasons.
I love it.
Um, and this is going to, we actually calculated it. It's going to go right before the holidays.
Oh, wow.
So it landed pretty perfect right before the holidays. doing now the Thursday and Friday schedule.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, you know, writing, my writing has grown from this. It started as a songwriting exercise, and it certainly has taught me. Another thing that I'd like to do is I like to challenge myself with difficult keys. So, like, um, you know, there are certain keys on the keyboard that I can fly over, but there are certain keys that I'm not that, you know, well versed in. So
Sure.
I'll throw those keys and write a song in it, and I'll screw up, you know, during the thing, and you know, it's totally cool. It's like it's a beautiful mistake, you know. You kind of
All
just
improv. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just all improv, and with that, I want to be a better musician. You know, like if I'm sitting in with some cats and they happen to be playing in some crazy key, that you know, I'm fine with it. You know, so
I'm pretty sure by now you can play in just about any key.
well, I mean, but you know, but keyboards, or I should say the keys, right? Um, kind of came later to me. Like, so I've been playing bass and guitar for a long time. Percussion, I was in high school in the percussion squad and stuff. And you know, vocals, you know, I've never really like prided myself on singing, but I've got this certain rasp to it, and
Yeah.
can hit some high notes as well. So you know, I go for it. You know, who knows?
So what was your first instrument?
Alto sax.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that and guitar, because my dad had a classical guitar. Here's a funny story for your show. I used to run home after playing sax in the middle school band. And by the way, there were just too many trumpet players, so the band director was like, "You're playing sax," and I was like, "Okay." So I loved it though. I actually loved the saxophone. In fact, I want to get one. I love it.
yeah.
And with like Maceo, Cannonball, you know, Carl Denson, those cats, like that's how I want to play, like funk, you know. But anyways, I would run home and I'd pull my dad's classical guitar out of the closet, and I'd tried the music that he had. You know, he was going to some lessons, and the neighbor across the street apparently could hear me practice because I'd practice with the window open.
Yeah.
And one day, my dad comes home from work, and he tells my dad, he's like, you know, your boy comes home every day after school, I guess, and you know he's practicing the guitar because I would put it away before my dad would come. You know,
Oh.
not that he would get upset or anything, but just I kind of
Mhm.
wanted to be very private about it, I guess.
Yeah.
And and the neighbor told him, you know, you ought to get him a guitar, like his own guitar, you know. So I'll never forget. And my pops was like, the neighbor says you've been practicing the guitar, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, yeah. He was like, well, let's go down to the old music store. It was like Arnold and Morgan. I lived in Dallas,
Okay.
old ass music store, and he was like, you know, pick one, you know. But my first guitar was like a Yamaha, you know.
Oh, yeah. Of
I wanted an SG, like I wanted
course you did.
because Angus Young, right? I loved AC/DC. I was like, I want to play like Angus.
Buy me the $2,000 guitar, Dad.
My dad's like, why don't we get this Yamaha that looks like Angus guitar? And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's fine. Shit. So, anyways, but
Oh,
yeah.
that's so cool, dude. My mom, she was the one that made me and my brother both do music as well. And it's really funny because my band director was my mama's band director, was my brother's band
What?
director, and was
No
my band
way.
director. Mr. Molina, if you're out there, shout out. He's still
Oh,
rocking and rolling, looking young. And
that's awesome.
yeah, I don't know how he does it, but
What
he's a
was your first instrument then?
tuba.
Tuba.
That's what I was gonna tell you. Yeah. So mom's like, you gotta, you gotta do music or whatever. She's like, make sure you do not come home with a clarinet. She's like, I cannot stand the way those things squeak, or whatever. And so here I come home with this big ass tuba that I can't even carry.
Oh my God. Did you have to get a dolly for that or like a
Dude,
wagon or something?
I can't even remember how the hell I got it home. And I had to ride the school bus too. So it's just this whole thing. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. You didn't want me to get the clarinet. So they put me, and I wanted to play the drums, but apparently I didn't have enough rhythm to play the drums. But it all worked out perfectly because I just got to play bass. Like I just moved straight to
I was just gonna say that
jazz
bass
band.
clef. So you can read bass clef, and that's powerful for a bassist. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's kind of what sold me too on the whole tuba thing. They're like, okay, but if you play tuba, you could also, we're going to need a bass guitar player for the jazz club. So then I was like,
Nice.
well, okay, if I get to play bass guitar, that's kind of cool. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, tuba, I never thought was the coolest until we were like in marching band in the stands and we get to dance
And
stuff,
you can
you know?
dance with it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
cool.
man, the tuba is bad though. The tuba is bad. That's a bad instrument. Can you do
Yeah.
it all like boom 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 boom? Can you still play it?
Yeah, well, okay, my friend Shane, shout out Shane, he's like a badass tuba player, and we went to school together, and so every time I end up in Corpus, you probably know Shane Rackley.
Yep.
Yeah, every time I end up in Corpus, I always end up at his house at like 2 a.m. trying to play his tuba.
It's a good thing to play it too, for sure. 2 a.m. Perfect tuba time. Oh my God.
But when I did, I used to have a band called Picklefish, and Shane actually played sousaphone in that band. So it was really
Okay.
cool. Yeah, we had double bass and bass and the sousaphone. So
Dang.
yeah, I was pretty off the wall, dude. Like I'm legit,
That's heavy.
yeah, thinking about doing something like that again.
You should.
I think it'd be super fun. The more bass, the better, you know. You can never have too much bass.
That's right.
Let's see what else I wanted to talk about. In so 2017, your album Mosaic, is that pronounced right? You
That
got
is.
top 10 Austin Album of the Year by the Austin Music Awards. Now, is that a fan-based award or?
No. They reached out and said, I mean, it was a poll, I guess.
Okay.
Um, I didn't even realize that I was up for it or anything. It just happened, which is pretty incredible because I haven't really gotten a lot of love from the Austin Chronicle.
Really?
So yeah, no,
Do you
no,
have your own day yet?
no, and like
What?
I'm not
Okay,
even gonna get into
I
it.
am writing a petition. I'm writing an email as soon as we get
My
off.
own day, yeah.
Oh
I mean,
no,
every day, but
and his
no,
people need a day.
it is weird though to me, like you know, I don't know what you have to do really, but it really that part doesn't matter to me anymore because there's so much going on that those sorts of accolades are fairly unimportant. I think. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, you're showing what you're worth with all the work and everything. Like everything greatness, you're like it's exuding from you. You're like
Yeah.
attracting everything that you need. You know. So yeah,
Well, I
no,
appreciate
we
that.
don't need awards and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
the only award that I'd like to win are some Grammys.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and I'm trying to work with some Grammy award-winning people and just to move into that whole thing. I write a lot of different kinds of music too. I just wrote a fanfare theme for the Special Olympics.
Did you really?
I did, and it's this grandiose piece of
And so
music.
they're using it for the Special Olympics?
Yeah, so
Congratulations! Oh
thank
my
you
God,
very
that's
much.
so cool. One of my best friends, her son, he's always doing Special Olympics. So
Awesome.
that's super awesome, dude.
I wanted to make something that was very empowering and something that you felt, like a king or queen walking
Yeah.
into. So it's called the Champion Anthem, and it's like fanfare like da 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 da, and all this craziness, and I kind of took some ideas from like the fanfare of the Olympics, basically like something that was kind of like that. And but anyways, my point being is that you know I think what's important to me is leaving a large and vast discography of music and songs and a long list of people that I've worked with and that kind of thing. And that to me is the most important thing about being a musician. Like, you focus on practice. I practice incessantly and like just trying to always be better at the craft.
Yeah.
And to be rewarded with awards or a mention or blurb or something, it's just it has become very unimportant to me.
Yeah, it's
Um,
nice, but it's not necessary.
Well, it's very nice because the average person needs to be told what is good out there, and
Yeah.
so that they will follow, what's being mentioned, of course. And I think that that's a positive for sure. But I certainly am not looking for those sorts of pats on the back or anything because it really is not very important.
Well, next time I see you, I'm giving you like 100 pats on the back because you deserve all of them. One
Um,
last question that I did want to ask you. I know you're super busy, and I know that you have a lot of other things that you need to do, and I appreciate you so much for
I
taking
appreciate you.
time
Yeah. Thank
out of
you.
your day to speak with me and the fans of Henry and the Invisibles. I was just curious, living in a community such as Austin that is so based on live music and entertainment and that's what the city's known for. Like, how do you feel this is affecting all of our musician friends, and especially in Austin? I mean, I feel like it would just be devastating for a lot of musicians out there.
You mean the pandemic?
Yes.
Um, you know, I think it's devastating, quite honestly, um, because there the landscape is going to look so much different, and depending on how long this is going to go on, we've already lost some historical venues, and many more are soon to close. I'm pretty sure of it. And if I owned a club, I mean, quite honestly, I mean, without getting any sort of funding or relief, I'd probably bail because it's nuts to pay rent into a zone that you're not going to be able to like utilize, right? For your original premise. And so I think it's devastating, and I think a lot of musicians, and I feel very fortunate for being a one man band,
Yeah.
but bands, that are large ensembles are having quite the difficult time. You can't really gather, and if you could, there really isn't an outlet, and you might be the conguero, or you might, where it's not a melodic instrument. Although I'm not certainly not talking trash about congueros because
Okay.
I love the congas and I love percussion and stuff.
Yeah.
My point being is that you know um, if you played guitar or something, you could at least sing and do something live, or your bass, you could do this, and you can film it and stuff, and you can film the drums too, but it's almost as if you need to have an accompaniment in
Yeah.
most cases. And so I think it's been really difficult for people to quickly. We had to figure it out, how we're going to go and be strong through all this. But I have seen a lot of my friends like pretty depressed about it, and for them, I pray and I hope that they could find some sort of solace. And so to
And that
answer
you
your
can be
question,
an inspiration for them as well.
I mean, I try, but it's like I think it's just going to be very, very, very different. Obviously, I mean, there's no crystal ball here, right? I mean, we can
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
It's going to be absurd when we come back into this, and then you got to think about like I'm already like down with performing at certain venues where like there's social distanced, and I did a gig back in June at the Far Out, and but since then they've had to tone it down even more
Yeah.
because we were kind of on the verge of an opening, and then nobody believed in it, and then now it's out the window and all this
Yeah.
craziness, and that's neither here or there. But like, so I'm wondering myself,
Yeah.
like when it starts coming back and stuff, what that's even going to look like.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. I'm super curious too. And so, town like Austin that's known as the live music capital of the world. It blows my mind. I just can't imagine. I'm sure there's a lot of musicians that are just kind of seeking some sort of help or some sort of way out or some sort of answer to like what's coming next. And I do see a lot of people doing live streams, and that's amazing. And I think we should note and mention that one thing that does set you apart from a lot of the other live streams, and I don't want to give away your secrets or anything, but it's just kind of obvious, is, is the charisma, the dedication, the environment, like just the way you have everything set up, like your little sign, like everything makes me want to watch this video.
Cool. Thank you.
Made your whole like environment very inspiring, for yourself, and I'm sure for everybody else at home too. So that definitely sets you apart from other people, and I think maybe a lot of people need to start thinking about thinking outside of the box in other ways that we can like still make this work. It's just we're going to make it work a little differently now.
Well, yeah, I mean, like this conversation here that we're having, I mean, I think this is one of the brilliant things that have come out of it. Yeah, let's talk about some positives, right? Like this is pretty cool. Like whereas before, it was either like a meeting for coffee and having an interview with a microphone, or perhaps a phone call or something. I mean, I've used Zoom so many times. I'm about to do a Zoom happy hour coming up in a few hours, like where there's going to be hundreds of people.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So basically, I get these calls where I do a happy hour, and it's me and two other musicians usually. And there's a couple of cats that book these things, and most of it is for like a corporate setting, but of course everybody's working from home, so there's not, it's not suit and ties and stuff, and there's hundreds of people from their company, and the boss just wants to do something cool for them, right? So we throw it down, and it's kind of like a song swap, and we throw it down, and we have a lot of fun, and then the chat window is going off, and we can chat with them, and then they ask us questions, and there's some banter, and then it's goodbye, and it's a cool gig. I mean, but like, to answer your question, I mean, that's what we're coming up with, right? So,
yeah,
Zoom parties or live streams or these kinds of interviews. And I mean, so I'm excited about that. And I think that it's going to definitely bleed into the future of how we're going to manipulate around most of the stuff.
sure.
I only, I keep thinking like, I had like 5 festivals cancel like just this past month.
Yeah.
And that's devastating. I mean, I was actually a headliner on a bunch of these this year, and I was super stoked about it. And, I'm not, this is no pity party, man, because everybody's
Oh, no, yeah, everybody's feeling it. Yeah, but it sucks.
Everybody's losing. But it's just like, it's so crazy. And I think about those gigs in particular, where there were thousands of people. When is that going to come back? And I'm not talking drive-in movie theater gigs either. Like,
yeah,
when is that going to come back? And when it does, whoa, I mean, that's just going to be...
I know. Good luck keeping us under control.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to go off,
Yeah.
So,
do you have merch, Henry?
Yes.
You do?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's on your merch store at henryinvisible.com?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the Invisible store. I think it's Invisible Threads now, and it's about to be updated because I'm putting a lot more like of the T-shirts and stuff. But like this hat says Invisible on it, and
nice. So do you have your own custom sunglasses yet?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
That you sell on the site?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
there's sunglasses. Well, we'll have to send you a pair because I appreciate this. And
dude, that is so cool. I thought I was coming up with an idea for you, and you already had it.
Well, I got to be honest; they're not as cool as this, though. So I gotta get to work. I gotta get some glue and some tweezers. But yeah, no.
Dazzle all of them.
Yeah. Actually, bedazzling is something that we could really get good at during quarantine. I want to start bedazzling the shit out of everything, just jackets.
Dude, bust out the bedazzler.
I have to bedazzle.
Yeah, and then start auctioning off your custom pieces.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is a business plan right here. Yeah. Is what we're gonna... So but I have to say though, my merch store is a little lacking since quarantine because, well, we were on the road quite a bit, and we have a lot of physical merch. koozies and glasses and records and vinyl and shirts, glow in the dark shirts and
Oh, cool.
hats and earrings and all kinds
Oh,
of crazy
nice.
stuff. But since it was just kind of like a big punch out,
Yeah.
and now I'm just kind of shaking my head and saying, okay, I need to focus on the online store. So it's, yeah, it's coming up again though. We got a lot
Figuring
of cool
it
stuff.
all out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting it all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up, but I do want to let the viewers know once again how they can find you. So we can find you at henryinvisible.com.
HenryInvisible.com, and I am at Henry Invisible everywhere.
Everywhere, folks. At Henry.
Insta, Twitter, Facebook. It's any new thing that's coming out, TikTok, whatever. We're getting rid of TikTok. It's cool. It's I'm at Henry Invisible.
Microsoft's buying TikTok. That's what I hear. Um,
It's no longer cool then. Is all I'm saying.
I don't understand why Facebook did it. Whatever. I'm not getting into it. Okay, so we can
Yeah.
find you at Henry Invisible anywhere. You just look up Henry Invisible. He is everywhere. Find him live on the Love Stream Thursday and Friday nights at 9 p.m. and find him on bootsyradio.com every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. Please go to his merch store, support this man, like his page, comment, share.
Thank you.
He is an amazing, amazing inspiration.
You're amazing too, Sunshine. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. Thank you so much. And I hope the rest of your day goes great. And I hope that your Zoom party is all dance party like.
It's gonna be off the hook. Yes. I'm gonna get up and I'm not wearing pants. No,
No pants Friday, but it's not Friday. No.
Yeah. But anyways,
All
all
right,
the
my
love,
brother.
Sunshine.
Yes,
Yeah.
so much love to you. Tell Pops I said hi.
Mhm.
And man, peace out. We'll talk soon.
All right, cool.
All right, man. Bye.
Peace. I'm still here.